Hello and welcome to the Fun Zone. I am Jason, also known as Fundy, and this here is my bestie, Bucky.
Hello.
So we had a chance to go and watch an early viewing of, what is the name?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Okay, and he had to say it because I have messed up the name of this movie so many times.
The massive unbearable of talent weight.
Yes.
The weighted talent of unbearable mass.
Yeah, you get the point. So say it again.
The unbearable, oh my gosh.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yes.
There we go. I'm just going to jump right in. I freaking love the movie.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly. Most refreshing, fun movie you will see in theaters. Absolutely by far this year, possibly for the rest of the year.
This thing went above and beyond all of my expectations.
Yes. For this one specifically, it's a movie that follows Nick Cage, struggling actor looking for a little extra cash, who agrees to go to a wealthy superfan's mansion for his birthday. He's spending time at the mansion with this superfan named Javi, and this beautiful friendship begins begins to form. Unfortunately, though, the CIA gets involved and lets Nick Cage know that the man he's been hanging out with is a crime lord.
It gets complicated.
Yeah, he's spying on his friend. What does Javi know? What does Nick find out? Can the bromance survive? Chaos.
The major drawback or thing to look out for is the language. Like, there's a lot of F words.
Yes, the F-bomb is dropped a copious amount of times, but if you can see your way past that, this movie, in every other regard, is remarkably clean.
And also, to that point of, like, the language, for the most part, it actually fit within the context of the characters, because these are larger-than-life characters. Nick Cage is playing himself. I think it ultimately worked for the most part. When did we, I guess, fully invest in the film? The scene at the pool when Nick Cage first gets to Javi's estate, Nick is not all about what's going on. He thinks he's just here to get paid. And then Javi, you find out, is just this massive fanboy. He comes up and he's trying to approach Nick, and he is just like giddy, and he is also nervous. He sits down. He's trying to have a conversation with Nick, and so he grabs a beer. He fiddles with it, then he puts it back. And then he turns over and he's just having this disjointed conversation, and it's just beautiful.
I do have to say, my moment began 10 minutes before. There's a scene where Nicolas Cage shows up at his daughter's 16th birthday and gets drunk. Now, this scene is, if you're imagining it right, is going to be so cringy, so over the top. I was so worried that that's how the scene was going to play out, and it didn't. Not at all. Yes, you could tell nobody was having a good time, but it didn't make you uncomfortable. It didn't push it too far. And then whenever we got into that scene, and you could see the way that these actors and these characters were interacting with each other, absolutely. I was, okay.
You're totally right as far as, I really enjoyed that they didn't take it there. They were telling you a story. They already have this ridiculous aspect they've sold you on, so they weren't going to make this even more ridiculous.
Yes, I think that is probably the highlight of this movie, is the fact that everything is so grounded that you never feel like you're being pulled into anything as an audience that you're not prepared for.
It's as if the actors, producers, the directors, I felt like they were respecting me to understand that this is already a ridiculous situation, and they didn't have to telegraph to me in every scene that, guess what? This is also ridiculous. No, I understood, and they presented it in the best relatable way.
Without getting into too much detail, my favorite moment in this movie, it's a series of moments. It's a good 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
That really solidifies the friendship between Nick and Javi. They take this illicit substance together, and things happen. It hits every note, but it doesn't go too far, and it's there, and it's beautiful, and go see it.
The same scene is our favorite scene. This bromance just blossoms. I had no idea it could be this beautiful and this riveting. I never knew I would be laughing so uncontrollably at this movie because it was just, even just the way they looked at each other, just the look in the eyes, that it just sold it to me. Which, furthermore, I just felt like the actors themselves loved filming this movie.
Yeah, and obviously we weren't there. We could be completely off base, but there's sometimes you see a movie and you can almost tell that some of the people, if not all of them, had to have been having the best of time working on this film together. And this felt like one of them, where everyone had to have been having the greatest of times working on this film together.
So I was worried that if this film does well, that means meta films are just gonna be in. All of a sudden, Hollywood's gonna be like, great, let's just make this into a formula. Let's do this 10 more times until people don't wanna watch these anymore. I don't wanna watch a meta film on Robert Downey Jr., Tom Cruise, or one of the Hemsworths. That is my fear. Please, Lord, don't do it. They should be few and far in between.
Now, John Hamm, if we can get a John Hamm one, I might be on board for that.
Yeah, you would say that. Nicolas Cage playing himself. I'm sure some people are like, oh, he's just playing himself. That's easy. No, it's not.
Well, and especially, I saw he did an interview before this a couple weeks ago, I guess, where he said he will not be watching this movie. He's very excited for everyone else to get to see it, but because he had to play this neurotic, over-the-top version of himself, he wouldn't know what to do watching that on screen. But he did. He nailed it.
Pedro Pascal, on the other hand, wow. We've seen him in like The Mandalorian.
Seen him.
Oh, yeah. In this film, he made this film come alive. Without him, I don't think the humor would have worked. He got to show so much more range than we have ever seen. And for me, he and the dynamic with Nick Cage just sold it.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for our quick take review. I sometimes say you can wait until you can see it at home, but this is a film that I think you need to see in theater. Do you agree?
I wholeheartedly agree.
All right. So quit watching us and go watch the
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Now you have me so afraid I'm going to say it wrong.
There we go. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please like and or subscribe. That way we can bring you more videos.